carrier was on the phone asking me questions. I was like, yeah, and exactly. And I was following them and I was spitting out answers like nobody's
Yes.
business because you make it so plain. I got off the phone like, I got my PhD in this. Like, I'm ready.
Yes. I love it.
And that's okay. I just want to make sure y'all can actually hear me. Okay, no problem. And if the background gets a little too loud, just let me know. I am sitting outside, but if that becomes a distraction, I can move inside. Start. I usually show you guys the new ways that I'm doing things as far as recruiting and all of that good stuff, but that kind of limits the time on questions that you guys might have. So I kind of want to reverse it this time. So starting today, does anyone have any specific questions before I do my little spiel of what we have to go through?
Okay, so well, I'm not. If other people have, I don't want to ask too many, but I have kind of like a couple. Okay, so
just knock out like 3 of them, and then we can give somebody else a chance. And if they don't have any more, then we can just keep going down your list.
Okay, cool. Okay, so just looking at a couple other, just trying to learn as much information as possible. I've noticed people mention things about permits. Are there any permits needed?
Not for you. So as the dispatcher, you don't need to get any permits, but permits make you more money as if you're a driver or a carrier. So different permits would be like the oversized hauling. You can have the split car. You can have so many different permits that you can get. You can more money as well. It's like kind of having certificates. So you know how people can get different certificates within their same job, but it will help them get more money as they advance. It's the same thing like that, but that's for permits with drivers.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's like a piggyback to that. Do you need any type of certificates as a dispatcher? Because that's another
No. So you don't need any as a dispatcher, but if they have them, you need to know how to book loads for them.
What would be more important? Interviews. I noticed that people were talking about interviewing. I don't know if you would interview. We would interview, a dispatcher would interview the trucker, or they would be interviewing us. Or now you tell me which one is more important. How to get a DOT, and that may be in that
I don't know where that came from, but dispatchers don't need a DOT number or an MC number. And that is still something that is not regulated by the FMCSA. So that is just not the truth. That is a blatant not truth that is being spread. So you don't need that. If you get it, that's great, but you only need to have an MC and DOT number if you're becoming a carrier or you want to become a broker. As a dispatcher, you do not need one. You will not even be offering your DOT number at any point in time.
Okay.
And another thing with, as far as interviewing, people are just trying to make this seem very, very like office and professional when it's really not like that at all. It's not an interview. It's just like that initial conversation that you're having with the carrier and that carrier is having with you before they decide to sign up with your company and you decide to take them.
So, I took your class December of last year, and I was able to obtain. I cut you off. I'm so glad that you said that because you've restored my faith. I am getting residual from them because I followed your steps. So everything's working. I just wanted, I needed to talk to you for you to say something of that nature and just restore my faith. Just go get me somebody with CDLs.
Yeah, especially I want people to understand that you get paid off of those videos. So the more people view it, the more money you make off those videos. So it's putting people in this false narrative of what to expect getting into the industry. But yeah, everybody needs to have realistic expectations, and they don't know anything about the industry either. So they might not believe you when you're saying, hey, this is not looking the way that you want it to look. They're going to think that you're not doing everything you can do, when in all actuality, those loads are completely regulated as partial loads. Nobody's making money off of them. I'm not seeing, and this is just me, my observation as doing this. I'm not seeing where people are making the numbers that they're saying they're making.
That makes sense because my ideal experience was, if I don't have, consistent work, Monday through Friday, or what, if I don't have consistent work, then this doesn't seem like this would be something that would make sense on just a bidding war.
Yeah, no. So when you get to the bigger pieces of equipment, so you get to the reefers, you get to the dry van, you get to the full length flatbed trucks, there's consistent work every day, all day. Even just to play with it, I can show you what it would look like right now. So let's just see. So even at this horrible time, so it's 6:21, so that makes it like 7:21 on East Coast. And this is just a bad time to be looking for loads. So don't take this too serious, but there's still 3,800 options. And this is for a reefer. So I just tell people it's not, if you're struggling to find loads, now if you're getting the carriers, that's all you need. But if you're struggling to find loads, it's 9 times out of 10 the equipment. So you got to do more than just like look at videos, start getting on the load boards and looking at the stats. I would have told people probably a year ago that box trucks and hot shots, I think, were just a phase. Nobody, not only do people want to stay local, but they want to stay local for top dollar. And that's just not always an option. So that's why now I've been telling the dispatchers I'm training to just make sure you are maintaining a very realistic standard in a world where people are literally just throwing out numbers. The higher the number, the bigger the views are. So in a world where people are throwing out numbers, people don't really have a realistic expectation of what they're getting into. And that has been causing a few, you still go through the same processes as dispatching. It's just more secure as far as you not having to go to the load board every day to find a load. You'll know exactly where they'll be every day of the week. And if they're delayed, you'll know why. It's just more consistent compared to getting on the load board dispatching every day. That's the only difference, but it's still the same processes. So on any state that you would like to recruit in, I'm currently in Missouri until this property is done. So right now, these are all the people within today that registered for the FMCSA. And the more you scroll down, other thing, you don't have to live in the same state as your carrier because you work from home anyway. So you could have a carrier that is in California. You can have a carrier that's in Pennsylvania. It doesn't really matter. I think a lot of people start with carriers at their home state because it's easier to connect with them. But as soon as you get comfortable, you start branching out because everybody needs a dispatcher.
I'm telling you, you got it. And like she said, they're not going to pay you what you're worth. So if my opinion is worth anything, I think you already have it and you just don't realize it.
Yeah, just jump out there.
I appreciate it.
I love this. This is what everybody needs. Just a positive environment.
Right?
But, so y'all got it. You just got to believe in it. And once again, it all goes back to that confidence aspect. As long as you believe that you can do it and you don't speak doubt into anything that you do, don't even think it, because that person in your mind is saying it, and that's what is creating that thought. So just don't even think it. You just got to get out here every day. And do you know if it'll work? No, but you also don't know if it is not going to not work. So you might as well try. I feel like a lot of us right now are just stopping before we could even try. So you just got to get out there and try. And if something does not, the light bulb, and every time he failed on creating the light bulb, he was just like, all right, I know one more way of not to do it. So that's what I look at mistakes now. I know another way of not to do it. So let's do it a different way this time. So you just got to get out there. And like she said, you know what you know, and you just got to believe it. And it's not going to be easy. And it's not a get rich quick scheme. But when you get in there, the money is there. That's how
another thing with the like all the modules that you gave us and like the PDFs, I printed them out, put them in a booklet. So when my carrier was on the phone asking me questions, I was like, yeah, and exactly. And I was following them and I was spitting out answers like nobody's business because you make it so plain. I got off the phone like, I got my PhD in this. Like, I'm ready.
Yes. I love it.
Because it gets hard. Like, just trying to advance in life in general, you're literally walking through a dark tunnel where you can't see and nobody can help you with. You're just trying to get to that light and you don't know what's on the side of you. You can't turn back. You just got to keep going forward. So it gets lonely, it gets isolating, but through isolation, that's when you heal and that's when you grow the most. That's when you can just follow what that inner voice in you saying, like, no, just keep going. I feel like we've just been trained as a people to instantly think about, well, that's not going to work for me. If I would have thought that 3 years ago, I don't know where I would be right now. I would still be homeless. If I would have thought that, imagine I had nothing to my name and I still was like, I would be the greatest ever one day. Now, when that day comes, I would be the happiest person on earth, but it wasn't tomorrow. Trust me. But
you also created for us, like when I do feel alone, because we're always like, girl, how am I doing? They don't know because they're not doing what you're doing. And like you've created where like, if I feel like I can't do it, I just go into watch one of your videos And then it started, like, I hear your voice in the midst of what I'm doing because I've watched it so much, because you have, you tell part of your story. You kind of let us in on some of it sometimes. And it's like, oh, if she can do it from there, I definitely can do it from here. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
And
you just find out how you can.
yeah, I just have every Black woman's story. I feel like every Black woman at some point of our life, we can all relate to something. We all are the same in some aspect. And not just Black women, but women in general. We can all relate, but it's something about having melanin that just makes like things a little bit harder for you. So with us having that and me still making it out of all the things that everybody went through it. I'm not special for being homeless. There's a million homeless people outside right now. That does not make me special. What makes me special is that didn't stop me. I didn't end up there. I didn't end up in this just doubtful, all out, I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life energy. You have to pull yourself out of it. My favorite quote, and excuse my language before I even say it because she's a little vulgar, but she said, if you sit in shit too long, it's going to stop smelling. So
yeah, heard that.
you can't, and that's the only thing I think of on a daily basis. So it does get hard. Life gets hard for everybody, but if you sit in it too long, it's gonna stop smelling. And that's when you get complacent and you're just okay with things that you're not really okay with. So you just have to keep pushing yourself to be that best version of yourself every day, no matter how hard. And I just tell people every day you're not gonna have 120%. Especially as a woman, are so emotional. Every day, you're not going to be 120%. So it's okay to only give 70% on some days. It's okay to give 40% on some days, but you need to give some type of percentage. What's not okay is 0%. So even if you go to the gym and you just walk on a treadmill for 5 minutes, that's okay. You just had a 5-minute day. When you get back there tomorrow, you need to go ahead and do that full 30 or a full hour. But it's okay. You can't really beat yourself up on all of your shortcomings because you're just not going to have that energy every day. And I feel like that's something that women struggle with. We struggle with always having to have that energy, especially if you're a mom. Like I've seen my friends that are moms, you go to work, school, and take care of a child in one day. That's a lot.
Right.
So that's a lot. So with me, I just feel like it's okay to have some 20% days, but I feel like as long as 30 days in a month, as long as 20 of them days, you gave it at least 80%. Hi. As long as 20 of them days out of 30, you gave it 80%, you're going to be all right in this life. And you just got to be okay. That's the message I want to put out to people. Be okay. It's okay to be okay. You don't have to please people. This journey that you own is for you. Although, yes, you're doing it so you could provide better things for other people in your life, of course, but this is for you. You don't owe nobody anything. Entrepreneurship mean you did it on your damn self. You did this all your damn self. So you don't owe anybody anything that you did yourself. You just have to believe that and stick to it. And if you tell your big dream to a small-minded person and they kill it, that's on you. Keep stuff to yourself. You don't have to tell people everything. You don't have to tell them, you just got to keep it I don't know. It's such a selfish journey that I've been on these last couple of years. And the more I keep to myself, the better things in my life go. You don't know what people are speaking over your life. And even if they're not verbally saying it out loud, their inner voice could be saying, I hope that girl don't get it. I hope she don't get that house. Why she got to get it? Why it's not me? And just that quick, something that was so positive is now tainted. But that would have never happened if you would have just kept it between you and that person inside of you. You just got to build it up for yourself. People don't see the result. You don't need to talk about it. You don't have to talk about the process. You'll see the results.
Yeah, that's true.
So I feel like the game of life is just to stay balanced and just know everything shall pass. Whether that's a good season, that shall pass. And if it's a bad season, that shall pass. Everything in life is just a cycle. And once I don't know, I just accept it now. Once you accept it and you just go with the cycles of, this is a good cycle. All right, gotta learn something in this cycle. And people think those bad cycles are like the end all be all, but really if something was just sunny all the time, it'll die. Like there's no plants in the desert except for cactuses. So you have to go through storms in order to water your plants in order for them to grow. So a lot of people feel like they've been buried and life is just trying to bury them down and take them 6 feet under. But the whole time you're being planted, and just let the water plant you and grow you. And from that point, a tree will grow. And when you come back into the sun, you're going to be A-okay. You just got to believe life doesn't end all. It's not, all of these situations is just temporary. and it shall pass. And I just feel like if everybody could just develop that, life would be so much easier, because now is the time. We're about to hit peak season. So we're talking November, December, January. These are my highest grossing months coming up. So I was trying to just push that message out there, and whatever confidence that I can give people right now, this is the life-changing moment. This is the life-changing time. This isn't the time where we get off the Zoom and you think about it for a day or two and then you just let it go laxy daisy. No, this is the time you grind, because within these next couple weeks, you can make so much money. It's scary. Like only 20% of the world are considered wealthy in America. So if you come from that bottom 80%, it's scary to even imagine what that looks like, because you've never seen it. You don't even know what those conversations look like. You don't even know what you look like, but you have to get used to it, accept it. If that's what you want, envision that person and know that it just comes with a lot. You have to be prepared to transform, and you're going to lose people. You're going to lose things. You're going to make sacrifices, but it's all for your greater good. And I think that's the journey. I think we all get so caught up. We make it to the finish line and stop because you just don't know what it looks like. But if you did not come from a rich family needs to come from you.